Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we're going to be looking at 5 most expensive wars in history. So, before we do jump into the main subject of today's video, be sure to drop a like if you do enjoy, as well as subscribing and turning on the notification bell if you are new around here. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. So then, coming in at our number 5 spot at an insane cost of $390 billion, we've got the Korean War. The Korean War was nestled deep between the Cold War and happened between World War II and the Vietnam War. The Korean War is unfortunately often referred to as the middle child of US conflicts. It's there, but we don't ever seem to give it the attention it deserves. Lasting from 1950 to 1953, the Korean War has the title of being one of the shortest wars in United States history. Now, I'm sure this will make you get all assuming that the war was cheap. Well, this is where you'd be deeply wrong. Unless you consider $390 billion cheap, it's estimated that the direct cost of the Korean War was somewhere around $390 billion. But that's without factoring in indirect costs, which are estimated to be about $678 billion. Over the years, the US have used income taxes to pay off this debt. Moving swiftly on into our number 4 spot, we've got the Vietnam War. This war cost a mighty $950 billion overall, and is a highly known war in history. In this war, there were said to be about 2.7 million Americans who fought for their country. It might seem hard to get more expensive than $390 billion being spent. However, Vietnam's war went and did so, and in dramatic fashion too, with it costing over double the Korean War. All the money to fight in the Vietnam War came from essentially the same place that the money for the Korean War did. Taxes were used in order to pay for the war, with the real cost of the war being at the expense of the soldiers. 1 in 10 soldiers died in the war, along with 61% of the soldiers who were killed were under the age of 21. It's important to look back on those who lost their lives in such a gruesomely expensive war. Next up, at our number 3 spot, we've got the Afghanistan War. This war cost a ridiculous amount of money, being $975 billion. The longest war in the United States history goes to the Afghan War. This war is also one of the most costly as well. The 18-year conflict certainly did cost the Americans a large total of money. Financed primarily by increasing the foreign debt, America have done a lot of work to cultivate that super high sum of $975 billion. So you may be thinking, how exactly was all that used? $133 billion, which is around 16%, was used in reconstruction of war-torn Afghanistan. A vast majority of the funds have been spent on supporting US troops and deploying military vehicles in the war. Considering the fact that from just 2010 to 2012, there were 100,000 troops deployed, there have been a lot of troops to support financially. Now moving on to our penultimate number 2 spot, we've got the Iraq War. This almighty war cost a whopping $1.1 trillion. The terrifying Iraq managed to cost just a hand more than the Afghan War. Unfortunately, I have to put an emphasis on the word estimated when it comes to the Thai War, as nobody seems to really agree on the direct cost of the war. Trillions of dollars can certainly be hard to grasp at times. Just think what you could buy with that money. Over almost a 9-year war, the US had a lot of time to spend that $1.1 trillion. During the peak of the war, the US spent about $12 million a year on refurbishing vehicles alone. Vehicles are costly during war, and so is their fuel. It was estimated that roughly 1.6 million gallons of fuel were used by the US each day during the war. That's almost 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of oil. In addition to the financial cost, 4,488 American soldiers were killed in the war. And finally, moving into the long-awaited number 1 spot, we've got World War I. This monumental war cost $4.1 trillion. Okay, now this figure is just insane. Adjusted to inflation, $4.1 trillion is the total. The peak spend of the US was 36.5% of the GDP. So where exactly did all this money go, you may ask? Well, that $4.1 trillion helped to create 41 billion rounds of ammunition, 434,000 tons of steel, 303,000 aircrafts, 100,000 tanks and tactical vehicles, 82,000 landing crafts, and help support of 12.2 million American soldiers. How on earth did the US scrape up the high major amount of money? Well, the old-fashioned way is the answer, through war bonds. 63% of the war was funded through this method. Not too bad if you ask me. So anyways guys, that is going to be all for today's video. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss one of our videos. But yeah guys, that's it from us. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Peace.